Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. So today I'm going to show you how I make banana bread. I will give you a recipe in the description, but this is my recipe for banana bread that everybody says is just so awesome, and so we're going to make it today. The thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 325. So we're going to start off with 1 3/4 cups of flour. With this recipe, you really want to make sure that everything is correct. Should do that with any recipe, but I'm using King Arthur flour. Next, we're gonna use 1 1/2 cups of sugar. I might have just enough. Really close. So I tried to make this recipe the other day, and I had everything taped, and I realized that I put too much baking soda in the recipe. Although it didn't come out bad, it wasn't like my usual recipe. So 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You'll want to mix all the dry ingredients up. Make sure they're well mixed. The King Arthur flour I think it's been sifted, pre-sifted. So it's a really light flour. And of course everybody knows I love my C&H sugar, so nothing but cane sugar and all the stuff that I make. So we're going to set this aside and get the wet ingredients together. Another really good tip for this recipe is for all of the ingredients to be room temperature. So these are fresh eggs. You need 2 bananas. These are just slightly green. If the skin is brown or started to get spots on it, it's better. But you'll still get the same effect. I like to tear them up a little bit so that they mash easier. Try to get all the sticky stuff off of me. And you're going to see that I use a potato masher to mash them. You can use a fork. You don't have to use a potato masher, but I find it's easier. I am not a professional by any means, so I just do what I do. If you can read directions and follow them, in my opinion, you can make anything that you want to make when it comes to baking and cooking. We need a teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, that means that the oven is preheated. You need to shake up. This is actual buttermilk. You can make your own buttermilk. I have a recipe for that. Calls for a 1/4 cup plus a tablespoon. And stir it up. This also calls for a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, but I always use canola oil for this recipe. I have used other things. You can use any kind of oil really, but when I make it, I use canola. Just make sure it's all nice and mixed up really good before you start adding your flour to it. Now you add your dry ingredients to it. I do everything by hand, you'll notice. I could use a mixer, but I just don't. I'll have to get a spoon. I personally like nuts in my banana bread. Some people do not. You can add a cup of walnuts, pecans, whatever kind of nuts you want to add. You can add that to this. Sometimes I will make this into like a fruit cake. And the best thing about making your own fruit cake is you can put whatever you want in it. If you don't like certain things, you don't have to put it in there. But this, you can use this recipe to make fruit cake with. You just add your choice of ingredients. You'll need to spray your pans. I usually use coconut oil to spray them with. You can use any kind of spray. I just like coconut oil. It's my favorite. So this should do 3 of these small tins. What I usually do is get a little bit in each one, and then I go back and I try to get them as level as I can. You can put this in a big bread pan. You can put it in muffin tins. You just have to make sure that you don't overcook it. And the recipe says to cook it for an hour and 20 minutes in a big bread pan. And I think it might be too long. So I never actually cook it that long. Put them on the top shelf of the oven. I never do move the racks, so it's the second one down from the top. Don't forget to set your timer for 30 minutes so you can check your bread. So my alarm went off, and oh, they overflowed, but they're not done, so we're gonna go for another 20 minutes. So our timer went off again. And looks like I need to take them out and check them. So they smell really good. To check them, you'll want to take a toothpick, put it right in the middle, and see if it comes out clean. I always double check them because I'm always afraid that they won't be done all the way, and if they're not done all the way, they will fall. So it looks like they look like they're done. So we're going to let them sit here on the stove for about 20-30 minutes, and then we'll take them out and you can see what they look like. And yes, they did bubble over a little bit. That's the reason why I always put a pan under the tins, because they do tend to do that. So it just happens. So it looks like 50 minutes is the total amount of time in a 325 oven. Okay, so now that they've cooled off a little bit, I take them like so, put them down on top of a piece of tin foil, and then I wrap them while they're still warm. Maybe that's the reason why they taste like they do. I don't know. Honestly, I don't do anything unusual to them. So if somebody at home is going to eat them, which sometimes they don't come out of these really easy, but anyway, I usually keep the messed up one. So this one's not that bad. So I'll wrap it up. And this one, I'll show you what it looks like. They really are best when they're hot or warm. There you go. Shannon's banana bread. Tastes like banana bread. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'm not sure what I'm making next week. I haven't decided yet. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment. And I hope everybody has a great week.